boys and girls. This week we will be learning a new Google tool called Jamboards. And so our learning target is I can use Jamboards to show my thinking. So, Jamboards are a little bit like a Google slideshow and a little bit like a whiteboard. There are different pages, and up here at the top you can see how many pages there are. Right now there's only one, but I can add more by turning the page, or I can go back. There's an undo button if you make a mistake, and a zoom button so you can zoom in and out. When you're using one that's just yours, you can change the background also. I'll make this one look like a sheet of paper. Clear frame clears the stuff that you've been doing. So let's look at the tools. This is the pen, so you can draw things. There's a circle. Now it's a fraction with a half, or maybe it's a lollipop, stuff like that. But I'm going to clear the frame and erase it. You can change the color of your tool and which one. The pen makes lines like this. This one makes slightly thicker lines. There's a highlighter that makes big but faint lines, and a paintbrush that makes very faint lines, but if you go over them more than once, see how it gets darker? Now, if I had drawn something and I wasn't happy with it, I could use the eraser also to erase parts of it. This is the pointer tool, which we'll be using whenever we have to move stuff. One fun thing about Jamboards, and we'll probably use these a lot, is you can make sticky notes. Choose the color of your sticky and put your idea here by typing. When I save it and click outside of the box, now there's a sticky note that I can move around the page. And I can rotate it and then edit it, duplicate, or delete. So, in the future, I might make an assignment like a thinking web, and you could put your sticky notes on the web. So that was the sticky note tool. But there's also a text box tool. I'm going to jump down a little bit. That just lets you type ideas like you would in a Google Doc or a Google slideshow. And you can change the size and stuff like that. You can add pictures the same way you would in a Google Doc. And you can use this tool to draw shapes, like that. Finally, the last one is a laser pointer. Probably I will use this more than you, but it lets me circle something, but then it disappears. So it helps me point to stuff on the screen for you. Now, before we close up and go get started, in the example jam, this is going to be a place for you to try out the tools and explore today. So, I'm going to give each of you a page to work on. And I'll type the first person's here. Then I'll go to the next page, and that can be person number 2. Oops, that's the sticky note button. Here we go. And on like that. It's very polite if you are person 1, only work on your page. If you're person 2, only work on your page. It would be very upsetting if you were person 1 and you had done a ton of work on here, and then someone came in and changed all your work. There will be times in the future where I make something and I'll be asking you to put your own sticky notes on it using that tool, and we'll all be working on the same page together. But if I put a name at the top of each page, I'll have a direction like, please only work on your own page. And that's what's expected. You just use your page most of the time. One last piece of politeness. If we're all doing sticky notes, it's polite to put your initials at the bottom of the sticky note so that we know whose idea it is. So let's say this was one person's thought. They would type their initials afterward. Let's do Jan Doe. And there's her sticky note. If we were working on the same document with John Smith, when he does his sticky notes, maybe he wants a different color. He would put his initials, JS for John Smith. That means that later we can come back and know who had which idea. So let me review those little politeness rules. Many times, each person in our class will have their own page on a jam. If it's that kind of jam, you only work on your page. You can look at other people's, but please don't change anything in their work. Sometimes I'll make a jam where we're all going to be putting our thoughts on together. If that happens, when we use the sticky notes or things like that, you need to put your initials on there. Okay, I think you know everything you need to know to get started exploring the tool today. We'll also be using these in our Google meeting today to do something a little different. Have fun exploring Jamboards, and I'll see you in the next video.